seen is the e-wallet program, whereby a farmer will have his phone, and these farming implements and items will get to the farmer directly. That was done under the former Minister of Agri, who is now with the African Development Bank. That was a very successful program. When you distribute these items through politicians, they give it to persons they feel are their political frontmen. At the same time, it will not get to the real persons, it will not get to the ordinary farmer, it will not get to the poor farmer there in the villages and so on. So it's not about distributing fertilizer, it goes beyond that. We also look at distribution to the right persons, and at the same time, the security of the farmland. You watch videos whereby people will plant their crops here and there, and some criminal elements will go into the farm, destroy their farmlands with cutlasses and cattle, and nobody is saying anything, and no arrest has been made. Nobody is talking about the insecurity. When we talk about boosting agriculture, we should also talk about protecting the farmers who would also be on the farms.
Okay, hold the line. Just stay on the line. We will come back to you, Folarin. I'm sure you have something to say concerning that.
Exactly. You know, one thing about the policy of government is that it really looks very, very interesting that it's going to take care of the poor. But at the end of the day, the policy doesn't take care of it. From 1990, we have asked different agricultural policy to tackle food challenge in Nigeria. But just like Mr. Sam has said, it has always been something that has been politicized.
Well, the anchor borrowers, some persons benefited. In fact, what we heard was that some who got the loan, they are yet to pay back.
Definitely. There are over 750 billion being owned right now out of the anchor borrowers' money, that nobody knows where the money is under CBN. Now, for every other agricultural policy that we have seen the government have engaged in, the distribution of fertilizer is one of the wasted policy that government have engaged in. Fertilizer distribution, I've just saw in the news right now, 2,700 trucks will be distributed across state level. As the same government that last year, over 100 billion was released for fertilizer. Who get the initiative? Who get those products? But what we are trying to say is that in as much as government is doing this kind of policy, they should do it directly, bottom to top policy in agriculture would help us rather than
not top to bottom.
Because the top to bottom end in the middle.
Okay, when you say bottom to top policy, how does that work?
What it means is that go directly to the farmers in the interior part of the country. They knows where they are.
This is what they are doing. That's what they give it to members of House of Assembly to take you to their.
I will give you one clerical example. Do you know why they are involving the senators? When they distributed food, the senators came out and cried out, all the food palliative that the government did, they didn't pass through them. That they are the one that knows the people. But I can give you for fact, when food distribution was done in local government, how many residents of local government in Nasarawa State were aware that they were distributing food in the local government? Nobody knows. The same fertilizer will be taken to that same local government, will be taken to other local government across. In my own local government, Lagos Island, we don't have farm settlement in Lagos Island. But fertilizer
will go to your state.
But you go to my state, you go to my local government, but you ask me, where is farm in Lagos Island, where I come from? There's no farm there. So you go to collect the fertilizer. So by the end of the day, the fertilizer will be given to like areas like Ekpe, like where we have farm and the rest of them. So Lagos Island will be denying the fertilizer. But my senators, my House of Reps will collect it. What will you do with it? Maybe you go and sell it. Because that's what they are doing. So that's what Mr. Eke is trying to tell you, that on this area of fertilizer distribution, another farm equipment, it doesn't get to the right people. That's why I'm calling for a bottom to top approach. And state governors have also politicized this agricultural policy in Nigeria. They are just waiting. Most state governors don't engage in agricultural production in Nigeria. They only wait for federal government to bring their tools and the rest of it. There's a particular two policy that is ongoing right now. There's one they call RAMP, Rural Access to Agricultural Market Farm. It's ongoing. It's a federal government, state government intervention program. Ask me how many state governors are involved in it. There's also the AGRISA. AGRISA is agricultural climate change for semi-land agricultural production, which means to empower local areas where they can give them money and the rest of them for agriculture. Government have been spending money on agriculture, but we are not seeing the result. I said, because it is politicized. Out of 100 people, they will give 10. they will call the media to come and show you the 10. But they will put in the media.
They will call the media. I take exception to that.
No.
They don't call the media.
They don't call the media to come and show the 10 people. Out of at the end of the day, you see that in a paper, it is 100 people that have benefited. A good example is the money that is waiting for people now, 50,000 naira. In the book, in the data of Bank of Industry, in the data of a minister of the particular minister is engaged, Minister of Trade and Investment, it is over 4 million Nigerians that are registered. Guess what? Less than 500,000 have been given 50,000 naira. So those are the things that government does with some of the policies. That's why at the end of the day, it doesn't show that initial target or objective of the project where you cannot see it objectively. Now, to the bone of what we are discussing today about tax removal on some of these.
Exactly.
Now, government is calling people to come and invest, go and bring food, remove tax from you. But these investors, these people who are going to import this food, none of them will reduce the price of their food. Upon
why?
That, because they will tell you there are other factors which we mentioned earlier: transportation costs, storage costs, access to market, and other local tax they will pay. The tax that government is removing is from the port of entry, but the other local tax that they will collect, like if you bring such food into Abuja now, FCDA AMAC will come and collect money from your shop or your storehouse that you're going to keep those food. Is that not that tax? Won't that businessman also add those costs of those tax on the food price? Meanwhile, the tax have been removed, the tariff have been removed at the port, but the one that comes from the local aspect has not been removed. So how are we going to reduce the price of those food in the market?
So in essence, what you're saying is that that removal of tax from the point of entry will not do anything.
It will not do anything because there are other taxes that the businessman who are importing this particular product is going to pay. Minus the deficit in the economy, energy costs, transportation costs, security costs that the person will bear. By the time we add all this to the goods, that is the end. It won't reduce the price of anything. Just yesterday, I went to the market to buy mudu of sugar. Mudu of sugar that I bought 2,900 naira 3 weeks ago, 3,000 naira just last week. Just yesterday is now 3,200. And I asked the owner, I said, you are one of these people that normally bring trailer of sugar into this market. How come your price is good? He said, I should go and ask the government. He said, cost of transportation. He said, cost of storage. He began to mention other factors.
Storage for sugar?
Yes. He began to mention other factors to me. And those are the costs why the price have to go up.
Okay, now back to you, Mr. Sam. We are looking at these factors. Okay, if the person is bringing the consumables from into the country and you are not paying tax, how is it going to affect them? When you look at this, if you are to be somebody that wants to implement something like this, how will you ensure that it actually alleviates the suffering of Nigerians in terms of purchasing power?
Can I say something? We have a big problem with policy on paper and the actual thing on the ground. Do you know if you carry food product from Sokoto to Calabar,
I get the sound of
at every local government, some criminal elements in the name of revenue collectors that extort money from these traders who go to buy food items from one part of the country to the other. You see them with nails, sticks, double barrels, and the government is doing nothing about it on federal roads. The government is doing nothing about it. How do you expect a man who buy a commodity, let's say for 100,000 to go and sell somewhere in Wiri or somewhere in Lagos, and between Kaduna to Lagos, he has spent over another 100,000 in levies upon levies on the road until he gets to the destination? How do you expect that food to be cheap? Or somebody bringing something from Lagos to Abuja or Lagos to Maiduguri have spent at every point. This is not security net, they call themselves. The government should have one tax system. One tax system. It will help businesses to strive. Secondly, the policies of government when it comes to palliative distribution of this, distribution of that. I've also advocated in the last time I came to the studio there. I told Nigerians the government should import food, but how you distribute those food items, it's a problem. The only successful, I start to be corrected. Abdul Salami during his military regime opened the silos and food came down. Another successful program for farmers is that of the e-wallet system by Akimumi as the Minister of Agriculture. Apart from that, the Alcopolas program is a big failure. It looked successful, but it was a failure. It was not what we anticipated. It has helped to grow rice. But when you go to the farmers themselves and do interviews and find out, do investigative journalism on how Alcopolas went through, I have done that as a person. I have gone to Chedi, Sokoto, Zamfara, Kaduna to meet the farmers myself.
What if they are not telling the truth?
No. You can't go to a community and you gather 30, 40 persons and you sit on a town hall or a village square and you discuss about these things. They tell you, oh, they wrote our name. They gave us 50,000. Then 50,000 change the narrative. I expect every local government to come out and say, this is what our people can farm here. Federal government, we need 200 tractors. We need fertilizers. Get the land ready for farming. Let it be the job of the 774 local governments and the area councils. At least 100 tractors for a start. Fertilizers. Then buy SUVs of 160 million and above. Use this money to buy machines. Give it to the local government. Let the government be, let it be a full-fledged emergency on food production. Let the coppers who are passing out their primary assignments should go back to supervision on the farmland. Get the government know what to do. It's just that the willpower is not there. They are not interested.
As at yesterday, a new ministry was created, the Ministry of Livestock. And this is also part of what we're talking about, to ensure that all these issues of hunger, food insecurity, and everything goes away. Is that not a laudable approach?
We always have good policies, but I've just told you, get to the people at the grassroots. Let the local government chairman of meeting at the banquet hall. It will carry all of them. What can you produce? What can your people do? Let's support you. We need, give them a target. We'll make sure there's market for it. If we produce more than what we can consume, we export. But nobody has taken agriculture as a business. We started wrongly by palliative. How long will you give someone food to eat? You teach them how to fish. So, it's not about, oh, I am part of the ABC, and we have to look at ourselves and tell ourselves the bitter truth, the way it is. We have to say it the way it is. These policies are not working. They will not work. This fertilizer thing has been there. Now they will start with political patronage. That's how it will be dispersed. Traditional rulers. That's how it will be dispersed. Opinion leaders. It will be dispersed. These places are also, most of them are also hungry. You will find those fertilizers being distributed back into the market.
Well, still on the line, Folarin. Currently, there's a report by the World Food Program where it says 26.5 million Nigerians are in danger of suffering from acute hunger. Now, from the look of this, 26.5 million, this is a large population. How can we holistically tackle this? Because they said between June and August, and we're already in June.
Exactly.
And August is just a breath away.
Exactly.
What Is there anything that can be done to ensure that we do not face this?
I think the first thing is to tackle this insecurity that have so much clamped down on our farm settlement. Most people in the northern part of the country, particularly the northeast as well as the northwest, are suffering from insecurity, kidnapping and banditry that kept many of them away from going to farm. We need to tackle insecurity in our farm settlement seriously. Government have been playing a little bit game on that, and that's why we have not yet result. The secondly is the area of whereby how can we help our farmers to be able to accelerate their farming production. 6 challenges have been identified by a research conducted by one of the NGOs in Abuja recently, and they identified one is storage. Another problem is the seed in the farmers use. Another problem is training for the farmers. Another problem is access to market. Another problem has to do with little fund that farmers need, and the last problem has to do with the welfare of the farmers in terms of their health, their children health, and the rest of them. So these problems are problems that we have found in every farm settlement that need to be tackled, and government over the years have been spending money. But just like Sam AK said, most times we deploy some of this policy, but we don't do a follow-up to ensure that this policy is followed through. We end up making a politicization of this policy, and that's why it doesn't work. For example, FCT is where we are today. FCT, as an agency of government, as an arm of government, we ask ourselves, why come the FCT ministry is not looking at having a farm settlement from them, so where they can be farming, producing food, and be selling it for Nigerians? What I'm trying to drive at is this: the federal government of Nigeria and the state government of Nigeria, the local government, they shy away from farm settlement. Well, guess what? Every of these arms of government have farmland. Most of Agric, for example, have over 200 hectares of land in Maraba, very close to us, where they normally plant cassava. But in the last 2 years, they have stopped planting cassava.
Okay, that was okay. Okay, I guess that started during the cassava bread.
Exactly.
They were
doing that particular
making,
project.
Cassava bread.
Now, not only for cassava, other agencies are also being established. Just like we are seeing that they are going to establish national agency for life, Ministry of Livestock Development. There was a particular agency that was established just a few years ago, National Agricultural Development Land Agency, that was establishing farm estates across the country. Ask me, where are those farm estates? Where are those products? Where are those commodities that farm estate has been producing? So we need to ask ourselves the question that even though government have been investing so much in agriculture, we are not getting the result. And for me, I'm someone who proud and want government to own farms and farm the farm and bring out food. We agree that we need silos. We have silos everywhere. But what are the products in those silos?
As yesterday, it was said the silos are empty.
They will be empty because there was nothing in it initially. What was in it? What was being put? There's a way government normally put propaganda out through their information. But you think that thing is right. There was a particular newspaper that published some of the quantity of those maize, those grains in that silo some years back. And the government kicked in and said, no, it's a lie. Because you ask yourself, the people that the farm government is buying the grains from or the maize from, they are not going to farm. A majority of them are in the far north, which insecurity has affected. So where are the grains in the silos? But what I'm trying to point out as a way of solutions to the question you asked, let government begin to practicalize how they can own farms. Although we have an agency that will establish farm estates across the country, where are the farm estates? What are they producing so far in the last 5 years or 6 years that the agencies have been created? So we need to begin to ask that question so that we can have answers to this. So that, because for me, depending on subsistence farming, like all these family or household farming that NBS brought out their data, about 40.2 million of them are engaging in farming. But at the end of the day, what they are giving us is not enough to cater for the entire.
It's not enough for some of them to feed their
themselves. So how come government doesn't engage in farming themselves? Get hectares of land, instead of giving land to people to be building estates and building empty houses for cockroaches and lizards that people are not ready to live because it's very expensive. Turn those estate land into farm and see what will happen. In Papaya, let government just take hectares of land.
This is not nice. How can you say we are building houses for cockroaches and lizards?
How many people are living with 50 million 2-bedroom detached houses in Abuja? Can anybody afford that at this point of hunger? So what I'm trying to say, in as much as FCTA is giving land for estate, we should also give land for big farm settlement for people to plant to organize a mechanization farming that Mr. Sam is
Actually, there's a
to.
plan on the way for that, because the federal government says it is going into partnership with state government.
Definitely.
To be fully involved in farming.
But we know that they have been doing that. They have been doing that in the past. But in as much as we support some of this policy, but the political will and the economic will, there's something about economic will. Economic will is that you are going to spend 10 naira today. If you need to spend that 10 naira, tomorrow you're going to spend 20 naira. The economic will should be there to spend the 10 naira and get result for over 100 naira, than wait to spend 20 naira tomorrow and get result for under